Hi everyone, welcome back to our session of Zeeve demonstrations and recording for different protocols. Today we are excited to talk about a new protocol that we've recently added onto the Zeeve platform, which is EWC. It's a protocol which is maintained and managed by Energy Web Foundation, one of the biggest firms in energy sector, who have been working on this protocol. They've been maintaining it and they've been promoting it for all purposes in energy sector. So today we're going to look into what Zeeve is providing for EWC and how you can participate into Energy Web Consortium protocol by yourself. So here you can see I've logged in with an account here already onto my Zeeve platform. Again, we've covered most of the elements that are present here in the videos before. If you are new to this series, I would recommend that you go to selective videos, you go through the overview of the platform to see what we've got here, what do we provide as services to our customers, and maybe some of them can actually benefit you as well. So going ahead with the deployment of Energy Web Chain, I think I'll just go ahead and talk about it. So firstly, Zeeve allows you to deploy validator nodes of Energy Web. That's what we are currently supporting, both for testnet and mainnet. You can purchase your Energy Web nodes directly from the section of full nodes within Buy Services. You can buy for Bring Your Own Cloud, which is for AWS, DigitalOcean, GCP, Tencent, and other, more clouds that Zeeve is supporting on monthly basis. Or you can also go for Zeeve Managed Cloud, where you don't have to worry about cloud accounts whatsoever. You don't have to connect any cloud account. You can just go ahead with deployments directly, and Zeeve will take care of the hosting part for you as well. With Bring Your Own Cloud, we of course allow you to connect your cloud account and use that cloud account itself for the purpose of hosting the node. So for this purpose, I've already got some subscriptions in place that you can see that it's as simple as that to purchase as many validator nodes as you want for EWC. So I'm going to go ahead and click on validator nodes, and this is where I can create new validator nodes. I can see my existing validator nodes and such. So clicking on add network would allow me to create a node which can be added to part of a network. That network could be Avalanche, it could be Corium, it could be Shardium, or it could, in this case, be Energy Web Protocol. You can see I've got all my subscriptions here in place, and the very first option itself is here is Energy Web. So I'll just go ahead and select that. I'll give a name to my network so how I can present it to myself. So I'm just going to write my Energy Web node. I can select the type of the network. So we support the mainnet and the testnet. So respectively named as Energy Web and Volta both. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select Volta for the time being. I'm gonna select the native Energy Web deployment. So this will set up my node on a virtual machine. And I can select the workspace where I want this node to be deployed. I'm going to click next, and here, because my Zeeve Managed Cloud is already the Zeeve is already taking care of my hosting side of the challenges. I really do not have to worry about cloud setup, cloud configurations, any of those steps. But if I had chosen a subscription of, let's say, AWS or Google Cloud to run my Energy Web node, I would be able to select from my own cloud accounts to be able to set up that node into that destination account of my preferred cloud vendor. This being Zeeve managed, we don't have to worry about any of that. I can just give a name to my node. So let's just write it Energy Web node. I can select the region where I want this to be deployed, and I can just click on create. So Zeeve will do a bunch of checks here. It will check whether my requirements are met or not, whether my subscriptions are in place or not. And once it is all met, it will initiate the deployment right away. And this will take about some minutes for the machine to be ready. And then afterwards, it will take about 20 hours or so for your node to be fully prepared and ready for the purpose of doing staking. So we don't have to wait for that long. We already have one network running of Energy Web into our account. So we'll just go ahead and open that. And here what you can see is the dashboard of managing my Energy Web node here itself. So you can see I've got a little bit of a section here, an about section, which talks about what is the name of my node, what is the network type, which my node is part of, what is the node type, which is it is a valid node, of course, and when was it start off with. So a little bit of a general details of my node, and then some bit of infrastructure details like which cloud is this node spawned upon, which region it is running at, what is the machine status, whether the machine is running or whether it's currently stopped. And of course, you can look at some analytics as well that will come to show as well. That's one thing. You can also download your installation summary. This helps you to look into providing these details for the purpose of staking to the Energy Web team later on. It has nothing but just some general details like what is the node name, the address of your validator node, the e-node, the IP address and such. So just some general details that you can download as a profile for yourself. This also is helpful when you are, let's say, coordinating with the Energy Web team, talking about your node as an entity and getting it whitelisted for the purpose of doing validation on the chain. You can see a little bit of a summary as well of how your node is doing. What is the current block height? What is the node syncing status? When you are initially setting up your node, you would find that syncing status is pending. But as soon as the node is fully synced, it is ready for performing staking, then its status will automatically change to synced. You can see my node is already synced here. And also you can see what are the details of my address. So my node address and payout address, these are two different addresses which are present for my Energy Web node. And the idea behind node address is that this is the default address where your rewards will get accumulated at the very beginning. But you can also associate your own separate payout address so that you are always in possession of your own private key and nobody else's. And your rewards will directly be routed towards your payout address itself. So when you will start your node, you would find that your node address and your payout address are the same. That's because the payout of your rewards are happening to the node address itself. So the balance of it is currently zero because this node is yet to perform staking as a process, but you can see that we've got zero balance in both. That's because the address of payout and node is the same. Once the amount gets accumulated over to your node address, you can even perform withdrawal actions. Right now, I do not have any balance to perform this, but once I get some balance, I can actually perform the withdrawal action as well to whichever address I want as destination address to receive my tokens. I can also perform changing the payout address itself, which will require me to just click the button, put down my new payout address, and from that point onwards, all my rewards that will be provided to me will actually be circulated to my new payout address that I can configure. So upon that, we'll try to get a little bit more in depth with all those features, but you can also see the different type of alerts that we've got. So right now you can see on my node, I intentionally have got an alert which says that there's a high CPU load on my system and its status is currently resolved. There's no such alert firing anymore, but this is one of the alerts that was popped out. And the severity of it is at warning level, and you can also see what timestamp for this alert created at. You can of course filter all of your alerts on basis of status, severity, and the timestamp. We don't have any alerts as of now running on this node, so it's all good and well. So talking about what are the other actions, you can of course delete your network. By a click, you can view the transactions which you have performed. So let's say if you have withdrawn any amount from your current payout address, that would be your node address as well. So all those transactions are recorded here. You can view those transactions and go to the Explorer from here itself, and you can see it on Explorer as well. So if I open my node on the Explorer, I can see what are the details that my root node is represented as. So I'm going to Volta's Explorer, and I can see my address, my balance, all of those details being shown here itself. Currently, there are no transactions with this address, but as I come to do more and more transactions, as I come to withdraw my tokens from my reward pool, I'll be able to see these transactions and see it on the Explorer as well. So that's a little bit about wallet management. I'll also quickly show you a little bit about analytics, what we've got for Zeeve. So you can see that we've got multiple sections here. One is system metrics, one is blockchain metrics, logs, and alerts. So Zeeve captures alerts of all of these categories. So for system metrics, you can see we capture the general system parameters like CPU, RAM, swap, network I/O, disk I/O, all of the relevant bits which are important to be captured for your node. You can also see the specs of your machine, what it is running upon. And then, of course, you can also switch over to the blockchain metrics to see various analytics, which are very specific to the Energy Web protocol itself. So you can see that your node is connected to some peers. You can also see the count of those peers. You can see the syncing status, block height. You can see the failed block field, blocks production indicator. All of these parameters are very much specific to Energy Web protocol. And Zeeve does the job of capturing all of these parameters to be able to show them to you on panel here and also provide you alerts on basis of all of this. So let's say that your node is not syncing with as many peers as it should. Let's say the number of peers that your node is connected to is lesser than 5 or 6 or 10, then automatically Zeeve will throw you an alert. It will throw an alert to our support team that this node might not be doing so well in terms of performance. Perhaps some attention can be provided to the node itself. So automatic alerts help you to be on top of your deployment at all times. Similarly, let's say if your node is not syncing blocks for last 1 minute or so, which could be unusual for the protocol, again, you'll get automatic alerts on basis of all of this. And similarly, we provide alerts on basis of your system metrics and other blockchain metrics as well. So let's say if you have some CPU spikes, your disk is consumed of more than what you attached on the machine itself, you get alerts on basis of all of them as well. Afterwards, you can also see that I can look at my logs, running logs of my EWC node. So this allows me to troubleshoot any work that I'm doing with the node, or just to check if my node is running fine without any issues pertaining on it. So this allows me to have a good visibility of what is going on with my node itself. And then finally, you got again a dedicated view for alerts that you can look at for your node at all times and be on top of your deployments. Zeeve also has a mobile app for this purpose, for you to be able to access your node's metrics and also the logs and alerts at all times. With the portable mobile application, we have both for iOS and Android that you can use for your own purpose. So that's a little bit about the Energy Web node and what Zeeve is offering for it. Zeeve, of course, takes care of the uptime of the node, which is the primary concern of running validator nodes, because staking is quite a sensitive process, and you would always want to make sure that you have the maximum uptimes to make sure that you don't default or you don't have any penalties or slashing with the protocol that you are going ahead with. So that's how you deploy your EWC nodes with the help of Zeeve platform, manage and monitor them as well. You would also find that my node now has some tokens present as part of the staking that it has been performing, and I can actually now perform the withdraw and change payout address because I have some balance with me for me to perform those operations. So firstly, I think I would first highlight that we recommend that you use multi-signature contracts for the purpose of securing your wallets. You can take the payout address of your payout address and you can actually put multi-signature contract in place to ensure that your account remains secure, which is performing the staking as an operation. You can read more about multi-signature by clicking this option here and see how you can make that happen. But I'll just show you how easy it is for you to change the addresses, withdraw your amount, whatever is present within your addresses, the options here. So as I mentioned, initially when you will deploy the node, the address of your node as well as for payout would be the same. So I can go ahead and perform a withdraw action based on the 4 tokens that I've gathered. When I click on withdraw, I'll see this pop-up model show up. where I can see what will be the approximate fees, transaction fees that will be part of my transaction. I can also see that this transaction fee is going to be inclusive. And then I can also see that the wallet also requires a minimal balance in order to perform the transaction. While the transaction fee is a separate component, yet you will need a minimal balance of some amount or the other in order to perform operations going forward. So there's a minimum balance of 0.0015 volta that is needed as balance within your node address. And it will also, of course, take a couple of minutes for these transactions to be fully viewable on the panel itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy an address here. I'm gonna put an amount. So I'm just gonna put here 0.5 volta, let's say, and I'm gonna press submit. It will ask me for a confirmation of the transaction that I'm about to do to the address, and I can click on confirm. So it will have initiated a transaction to transfer this, and I'll be able to view my transactions again within the view transactions panel, which we showcased earlier. It will take a couple of minutes for this transaction to be viewable on my panel, and it will be automatically be provided here onto my view transaction panel. So it'll take a couple of minutes for it to pop up here, but till then we'll go ahead with the demonstrating the functionality of changing the payout address itself. You can see I've got a notification of successfully withdrawn amount, which means that my transaction is completed. The balance will take a couple of minutes to change, but now if I open my transaction list, I should be able to see that there's a transaction here on my panel which says amount withdrawn, and it has a transaction hash present in front of it with a date timestamp of when it was performed. If I open this transaction, I'll again be circling back to the Explorer where I can see the details of what has been happening with my account. I can see the transaction fee which was included as well, with the value that was transferred to my destination account. So this keeps a full log of what you have done, and we can also see now that the balance has been updated of my node address where my voltas have been accumulating. I can also perform change payout address. So the changing your payout address requires two transactions. One is that the switch of changing your address within the node itself, where the payout should accumulate, where the rewards should accumulate, and also a second transaction where whatever amount has been accumulated so far within your node address will automatically be transferred to your new payout address that you have changed it to. This will only happen when you have payout address change that you're performing for the first time from your node address. So whatever amount that has been accumulated so far within your node address gets automatically transferred to your first payout address that you've changed it. After which, whenever you perform the change of the payout address itself, doesn't mean that your tokens from your source address will automatically transfer from the destination address. You'll have to do that yourself if you choose to do so, because both the payout address, the older and newer ones, private keys will be present with you itself together. So the second transaction, which is to also transfer the accumulated amount into the new payout address, also only happens when you perform the changing of payout address the very first time. After which you can continue to change your payout address as many times as you want, but it will not transfer the tokens from the source address to the destination address automatically. You would have to manage your keys yourself to do those operations. The transaction charge of payout address is approximately 0.0002409 voltas as transaction fee, and transaction to send remaining balance to your new payout address is going to approximately 0.0021 volta as transaction fee as well. The process is going to take a couple of minutes again for you to see the reflection of the balance changes as well as the transactions on the panel. And there's a minimal balance that again you need to maintain within your account if you're performing these operations, which is 0.0015 voltas. So what we can do is we can also change the payout address altogether. Putting the address here, I can click on submit. I'll get a confirmation that you're about to change your payout address to the new address here. I'm going to click here to confirm. And it says that it has initiated the operation already. and I can also view this operation as a transaction, going through my panel of actions and view transactions once more. It will take a couple of minutes for this operation to be completed as well, but here you would be able to automatically see that your addresses of node address and payout address would start differentiating. They'll become different. And from here onwards, there's not going to be an option of you being able to withdraw from node address again and again, because that will automatically be transferred to the new payout address, and there'll be no longer any reward accumulating over your node address. And of course, it is recommended that you can also use multi-signature contracts to secure your wallets for the payout address, and you can read more about it here. There's also the purpose that when you're provisioning your node of Validator node, it is important that you make sure your node is running healthy, it is synced, it's got a block height which makes sense. But then afterwards, you also have to make sure that you're coordinating with the teams to get your node whitelisted for the purpose of staking. So when I've deployed my node, when it's all synced and ready, I'll have to do the job of taking this installation summary and making sure my node is added to become a validator from the EWC team. So that is an offline process that happens, but you don't have to worry about any of that. If you're creating your node with Zeeve platform, then the request will automatically be raised to the EWC team, and they can whitelist your address to be a validator. Here you can see I'm able to see the change in my address as well as my balances of those addresses. So you can see my node address is the same, but its balance has changed because we've transferred whatever balance was there to our new payout address. And our new payout address is the one that we had set it to just recently. If I go to the action and I click on view transactions once more, you can see a couple of more transactions have popped up. So the changing of the payout address as a transaction has happened. And then after that, the transfer of the amount from the node address to the new payout address has also happened. Now, if I perform my payout address to be changed again, if I perform the operation of changing the payout address again, I'll see that I can again put down whatever address I want here. However, it is going to require me to have this much amount of balance in my node address again, which is about 0.015 volta. So I would need to deposit this much amount at least onto my node address, and then I can perform my payout address change right after that. So right now I do not have any balance left. There's only a little bit amount that is left on my node address, and hence I cannot perform the change payout address because I just do not have the enough balance to perform the change of the payout address. So in order to do so, I'll have to deposit some amount to my node address and then continue to change the payout address. But this time when I change my payout address, you should not expect that I'll have my voltas transferred from my current payout address to the new payout address, because private key of the payout addresses are not maintained with Zeeve. They are maintained by you as a user itself. So you only are handling those tokens from this point onwards, and you can transfer them to whichever address you want by your own wallet. So that covers all the features and operations that are important for your Energy Web node. And you can also reach us out on our support channels if you have any doubts or questions about the process. We also have our developer documentation, which covers all of these steps of how you can run your node and how you can continue to monitor and manage them as well. But it should be pretty straightforward from what we are looking at here. We're very excited about adding this protocol onto our big list of blockchain protocols, and we see that there are a lot of exciting projects that will be coming up on this exciting new blockchain protocol. So that's it for today. Hopefully you were able to understand what Zeeve is providing in terms of Energy Web blockchain protocol, and we'll also recommend that you follow us on all of our social handles, whether it be on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and such communities, where you can be on top of whatever we are creating, whatever we are working on today, as well as what we launching on daily and monthly basis. So very happy to have you onto our session, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.